Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We will convene the February 16th meeting of MCE Board of Directors at 7:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Yes. Belvedere. Benicia.
Here.
Concord.
Here.
Contra Costa County. Here. Corte Madera.
Present.
Danville.
Here.
El Cerrito.
Here.
Fairfax.
Here.
Fairfield.
Here.
Lafayette.
Here.
Larkspur.
Here.
Marin County.
Here.
Martinez.
Present.
Mill Valley. Moraga.
Director Perret is on as a
Oh,
attendee.
he's raising, yes, he's trying to sign in.
Moraga's here.
Thank you. Mill Valley.
Here.
Thank you. Moraga.
Here.
Napa.
Here.
City of Napa.
Here.
Napa County and all four Napa cities that include American Canyon, Calistoga, St. Helena, and the town of Yountville. Napa County. Novato. Oakley.
Here.
Pinole.
Here.
Pittsburgh.
Here.
Pleasant Hill. Richmond.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
San Anselmo.
Here.
San Pablo.
Here.
San Rafael.
Here.
San Ramon.
Here.
Sausalito.
Here.
Solano County.
Here.
Tiburon.
Here.
Vallejo.
Present.
Walnut Creek.
Here.
Quorum established.
Thank you so much. All right, now moving on to our next item, board announcements. Are there any board announcements from any of our directors? Director Murphy?
I don't know if this is a matter that we are taking up, but I wanted to say welcome to the new board members. I feel like I see a lot of new faces. And I don't know which cities they are, but I see my friend in Fairfield, Miss Kay Patrice. Welcome, Director Williams.
Yes, it's coming up. We'll be doing an introduction of the new directors. Let's see here.
Director
Madam Clerk,
Perret.
if you could help me. Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to thank MCE staff, especially Sebastian Kahn, for coming and speaking and helping to organize the sponsorship of the Chamber of Commerce in Mill Valley's after hours event last night. It was well attended, 65 attendees from Mill Valley's business community. And it was a chance to let folks know about Deep Green and opting up, as well as MCE services. So just a shout out to the staff. Thanks.
And Director Haroff, Chair.
This is Kevin Haroff. Can you hear me? I'm not sure, Darlene.
Yes.
Good enough. The only
Yes.
reason I raised my hand was to congratulate and welcome Chanel, our new board chairperson. And I think in the first meeting that she has chaired. So great job. We're looking forward to a long tenure.
Thank you.
Director Pearson. from-
Yes, Concord. I wanted to advise that several weeks ago, this Concord City Council terminated the master development process with Concord First Partners, who I was hoping that we would engage with a solar field similar to what we had in what we have in Richmond. However, the process to get a new master developer or the equivalent process will continue. And I will continue to advocate for a supportive field, solar field for MCE in the next phase. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are you seeing any other hands?
Director Thier has her hand raised.
Hello. I just wanted to say a few things. I wanted to give a big shout out to Patrice Williams. It is so great to see you. I never got to say congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And I also wanted to echo Director Haroff's comments about our new chair and say that everyone is very excited. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands on my end. You see,
There are no raised hands, Chair.
thank you so much. And I just want to echo the same sentiments to welcome our new directors. We're excited to have you all join us and look forward to working with you. And I just want to thank the directors for allowing me to serve as chair. It is definitely an honor and a privilege. And I am just so grateful. And I just look forward to meeting in person. I know we resume back in person here and soon and getting a chance to get to know all of you more personally. So thank you again. All right, we're moving on to our next agenda item, public open time. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on anything that is either on the consent calendar or not on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak at this time?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. So moving on to board introductions. Like I mentioned, we're really excited for our new board members, and Don will lead us through this item tonight. Don?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair. I wanted to suggest that we spend just a minute doing a round table. And if we were in person, we would literally just go around the table. Just giving each of our board members an opportunity to say which community you represent and maybe just one reason why you have chosen to be on the MCE board. With so many of us, I know we can't get into as much dialogue as we'd probably like to, but I thought just a little bit of getting to know each other would be beneficial just for our existing members to get to know the new folks and the new folks to get to know the existing members. So Darlene, if you're willing to help us go in alphabetical order, that way everyone will know what to expect. Let's start off with the top of the list, or in the order
Okay.
that you usually call the roll.
Okay, I'm going to start at the top of my screen. So we're only doing new board members, correct?
I thought it would be a good opportunity
For
to meet
everyone?
so that our
Okay.
newbies could meet the folks that have been here.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Director Thier.
Hello. Did you want us to mention anything in particular, or?
Just the community you represent, and if you'd like to say a reason why you chose to be on the MCE board.
Oh my gosh, I would go on all night if I said why I wanted to be on this board. But I will say that my name's Holly Thier, and I am in Tiburon. I'm a former mayor and a council member. And I really wanted to join Marin Clean Energy because I believe so strongly in the mission. I've actually worked with other CCAs, and I had the great opportunity to interview I think almost everyone who set up MCE, and learned a lot about that history as well. So thank you.
I suggest we go alphabetically by city so that the next person is probably ready, as opposed to guessing who's on Darlene's screen.
Was it something I said? You thought I wasn't ready?
No. It just, if we all take an extra 20 or 30 seconds to be ready, then we'll be.
I'm just joking. All right, it
Scott,
was a
you're an
joke.
experienced elected official. You could do it on the snap of a dime, Scott. You could do it.
And I would like to know how long people have been on, for those who have been on the board.
Great
Okay,
suggestion.
taking Director Scott's recommendation, we'll go alphabetically. Belvedere. Benicia.
Hi, I'm Carrie Birdseye. I'm a newly elected city council member in our gorgeous town of 28,000. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in person. The reason why I'm excited to be on this board is back in the early 2000s when Benicia was considering bringing MCE to our town as an opt-out option. I was on the Citizens Advisory Board, and I was really excited about the opportunity to bring MCE to Benicia, and I've been a big fan ever since. I work full-time, still need to earn a paycheck, and I do that by doing communications work at NRDC, Natural Resources Defense Council. Thank you.
Concord.
Hi, I'm Eddie Burson. I am, the city of Concord is 125,000. I think we're the largest of your cities. And I spearheaded the movement to bring MCE to Concord. And therefore I figured I should stick around to make sure I did good. And so far I've done good. So there you go.
Thank you. Contra Costa County.
Hi, I'm John Joya, and I just started my, I think, 7th term on the Contra Costa Board of Supervisors. I represent the wonderful west part of the county, although I'm here as a full county rep. Other than the west part of Contra Costa, those cities were the first Contra Costa cities to join MCE. Contra Costa County sort of led the effort and moved toward MCE, which then caused many of the other cities in Contra Costa to join. And we are all proud members as the largest load now in MCE, all the Contra Costa jurisdictions. And I see this as a continuation of the work I do on the Bay Area Quality Management District Board and formerly on the California Air Resources Board as we move toward electrification. And in our county, people may not know, 2 of the 4 oil refineries have decided to move away from refining crude oil. And so we are really at the forefront of our county of how we move to meet greenhouse gas reduction targets. And so proud to be on MCE.
Thank you, Director Joya. Corte Madera.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you all and exciting to meet those of you who have not had a chance to meet before. I'm Eli Beckman. I'm the Vice Mayor of Corte Madera in Marin County. I myself have only been on the MCE board for about 3 months now, and I still feel brand new because we had the holiday break and all. So I'm enjoying getting up to speed with all of our newly electeds and newly appointeds. The reason that I was so excited to join the MCE board is because I feel like climate change is the most pressing threat that any of our communities face. And I feel like 2 of the most important things we can do to address that is green the grid and electrify everything. So I'm here to help us do exactly that. Thank you.
Thank you. Danville.
Hi there, I'm Dave Fong, and I'm a 2nd-year council member as well as a board member for MCE. We're from the town of Danville has approximately 40,000 folks, and obviously we continue to grow. One of our pillar strategies is clean energy. And my commitment is to not only represent our town, but also learn more and how we MCE can continue to contribute towards making us a lot more deep green than we are today.
Thank you, Director Fong. El Cerrito.
Thank you, Darlene. Good evening, everyone. Gabe Quinto, I'm a council member from the city of El Cerrito. El Cerrito is 26,000 and proud to be an alternate starting in 2016. We worked very hard to let our residents know about Marine Clean Energy back in 2015. So being an alternate since 2015 for former Mayor Greg Lyman. I've been on this board now for 2.5 years, and this is one of my favorite regional boards to belong to because we're doing great things regarding electrification. My city is one of the 10 cities designated as a pro-housing city. So know that all of our new developments will be electrified and we will have EV infrastructure in there. So a lot of the things that I was able to do with Director Murphy when we went out to Washington, D.C. last year, a lot of these earmarks became a reality. So very proud of that to see, $750,000 going to low-income homes in John Garamendi, Congressman Garamendi's District 8. So very proud of that to see that we're moving from gas heaters to heat pumps. So exciting times going on, but I know it's not going to happen overnight, but glad to be and honored to be a part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Quinto. Fairfax.
Hi, I'm Barbara Kohler. I've been on the board since pretty much 2013, starting as an alternate for about 6 months, and then have been involved for 9 plus 10 years, about 10 years. Fairfax is small but mighty. You all have so many more customers than we do. We were one of the founding members of MCE before my time, and I want to say we're one of the most progressive as far as requiring all electrification and new construction with EV infrastructure. And one of the things I did a few years ago was able to secure a grant so that we could offset people's opting up to deep green. And we may still be the highest percentage of deep green customers of all the MCE jurisdictions. And a lot of that was due to our Climate Action Committee tabling, et cetera. I've been honored to be on this board. I learned something new every day from all of you and from staff. And my years of environmental work, I'm a scientist, really just makes me feel just like a big part of this board and still learning new things. This is pretty complex stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kohler. Fairfield.
Hi there. My name is Kay Patrice Williams, and I a new city council member in Fairfield, and I'm just thrilled to be here with serving with you all. There are many of you that I admire and follow and have been following for years, and to get to serve with you all, that's pretty dope. And so I was assigned. So my mayor assigns us posts and duties. And the truth is I won by 12 votes, and I'm so humbled and thrilled to be on any board, the city council, period. So I serve with my whole heart and soul. I thought the meeting 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't know. The onboarding meeting that you all had, I thought that was top tier, top notch. I learned so much, and I'm just thrilled and excited to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Williams. Lafayette.
Hi, I'm Gina Dawson, Vice Mayor of Lafayette. We're a population of 25,000. And I came on board because our former mayor, Mike Anderson, who long served on this board, said, you have to be on this board. You want to be in on what's happening here. It's a great group to work with. They're fun and they're very innovative, this company. And so that is the main reason why. And also because I came from working with my family and I with Sustainable Lafayette. And there is a big, strong group of people in Lafayette, obviously involved in fighting climate change. I think many of you may know Wei Tai Kwok, who's a fellow council member, who's a hero of climate change on a very, broad and local level. So just representing the community and bringing all the good things and fighting what we can fight with climate change. And glad to be on the team.
Thank you, Director Dawson. Larkspur.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. This is Kevin Haroff from the city of Larkspur. I am currently a city council member and former two-term mayor of our city, and I've been on the board of MCE for 10 years now. I'm also serving as chair of MCE, the MCE Board Executive Committee, and I have to say that participating in the endeavor of this organization has been one of the more rewarding experiences that I've had as an attorney for 30 years. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Haroff. Marin County.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name's Katie Rice. I'm a county supervisor in Marin. I have been serving on MCE, I believe this is my 4th year now. I've been serving as supervisor for the past 11 years, but before that worked for Supervisor Hal Brown, who frankly was the person who was instrumental in Marin County in securing some air district funds to help explore the possibilities of implementing the first CCA in the state under the legislation, the AB 117 legislation. And to this day, the meeting at which our Marin County Board of Supervisors pulled the trigger on starting Marine Clean Energy, forming the first CCA, was the most thrilling and dramatic meeting I've ever attended. And I have since watched with a lot of joy and awe and pride this agency grow into what it is today because of the amazing leadership of Dawn Weiss and the staff that she has built around her and the directors over the years. So I've been really, really glad to be serving on this board now for the last few years. And I'm very happy to be serving with all of you. And one of the beauties of this agency, I think, is actually the contact with so many other folks from across the Bay Area. I think it's really important. And it is how government, local government and regional government needs to work. And that's about working together. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Rice. Martinez.
Hi, my name is Brianne Zorn. I'm the mayor of Martinez. Martinez is about 37,000 people, and we opted in to MCE in just 2018, so we're fairly new. I've been a director since 2020, and I have really enjoyed the opportunities to expand EV chargers in our city. And recently, our city council voted to up City Hall to deep green, which I was really proud that the staff of the city of Martinez made that choice. And I want to echo what Katie Rice just said, because I really appreciated being on the board, meeting so many leaders from around the Bay Area. When I see them in person at various other gatherings, it's really nice to feel like you're meeting old friends. So this board has been very, very informative. So thank you very much to Dawn and all the staff.
Thank you, Director Zorn. Mill Valley.
Good evening, everyone. Max Perret. I'm on the city council in the city of Mill Valley in Marin County. I joined the council last June, so it's been about 8 months, and joined the MCE board in September. Very excited to be here and work with all of you. I'm on the executive committee as well as the virtual power plant ad hoc committee. I also serve on the Environmental Quality Committee for the League of California Cities. And I'm also on the Sierra Club SFA Chapter Executive Committee and have been on that board for a number of years, dating back to when MCE was first being founded, and we were working to urge all the cities and counties in the initial wave in 2010 to 2014. So great to be here with all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Perret. Moraga.
Hi, my name is Kerry Hillis, and I was just recently elected to the Moraga Town Council. I'm really excited to be an MCE board member. I've been working on energy policy issues for about the last 20 years on and off. I'm a public policy professional and started working as a staffer, and excited to move on to the other side of the dais. When I was in the Senate, I helped to pass one of the first bills that actually expanded AB 32 and actually helped to make the production of solar panels cleaner for the environment by regulating nitrogen trifluoride gas, which if anyone wants to know more about that, I'd be happy to bore you. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to helping us move to a much cleaner future.
Thank you, Director Hillis. Napa City.
Good evening, I'm Beth Painter. I am on the Napa City Council, currently serving as Vice Mayor. I was elected in 2020 and have followed MCE for many years. Many of you existing directors, I'm sure, think so highly of our ex-supervisor, Brad Wagenknecht, who served on this board for many years. But when, and you'll meet our new supervisor soon because I see her on the call, I felt that it was really important that that Napa County have some additional voices on MCE board, because this board just brings so much really good work to each of our communities that I asked and requested that we have an additional person from Napa County on the MCE board. So I'm a brand new board member, but my hope is that we can all work together to bring all the good work of MCE to our communities, to really make sure that every resident has the ability to make achievable and real changes with respect to climate change. So great to be here.
Thank you, Director Painter. Napa County.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, actually. I'm Joelle Gallagher. I'm a newly elected supervisor for Napa County. I am actually the alternate for the MCE board. Your member is Supervisor Ryan Gregory, but I'm really excited to be here. Climate resiliency is a passion, and I'm honored to serve with so many MCE veterans and with my colleague Beth Painter from the city of Napa, and I really look forward to working with you all. Thanks.
Director Gallagher. Oakley.
Good evening, my name is Aaron Meadows. I am currently mayor of the city of Oakley, first elected to our city council in 2020, and as someone else stated earlier, MCE was on my appointment list. Found this committee, this organization that do some very interesting work, and excited to continue here. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Meadows. Pinole.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Devin Murphy. I'm the mayor of this vibrant city of Pinole. I am, can I say, I'm in my junior year of MCE Board of Directors, so I'm going on my third year now. I was elected in 2020. This was my one and only appointment. And I joined this board because I love the work it does and the organization, particularly around deep youth engagement, but also the work around energy justice and energy democracy. Those are two real assets that I think every community needs: energy justice and energy democracy. And I see so much of the work that we do as MCE board, but also the organization holistically in that world. I joined the board because of that, but I remained on the board because of the phenomenal people on this board and within this organization, especially the phenomenal women who I see just leading every day, who I'm truly inspired by. And major shout out to Dawn, Darlene, and Stephanie, who have been such tremendous folks to work with. I used to hail as the youngest member of this board, but I'm seeing some younger faces, so I don't know if I am the youngest member anymore. So we'll have to check out the birthdays next. That'll be our next check-in. But I am enthusiastically and honorably serving now as the technical committee chair, which some board members will learn more about during the couple next agenda items. So yeah, proud to be here and thank you.
Thank you, Director Murphy. And we won't be doing birthdays. Pittsburgh.
Yes, good evening. My name is Chanel Scales Preston, and I serve as mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. I've been serving on MCE since 2018 when I got elected to the Pittsburgh City Council. And I also asked our mayor at the time if I can serve on MCE. One of my focus has been in our community is youth, and I want to make sure that I'm creating healthy communities for them while I'm serving. And, you know, I think with MCE, with their having a youth program and always keeping youth in mind, I just think it's important as we move forward. Through here in the city of Pittsburgh, we have an energy company. It's called Island Energy. And it serves power on Mayor Island in Vallejo. We also have one of the largest battery storage facilities or projects here within our city, and continuing to work towards clean energy within our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pleasant Hill. Don't think they're here. Richmond.
Hello, Eduardo Martinez, newly elected mayor in the city of Richmond, having served 8 years as council member. I was appointed to this committee. Disclaimer, I make the appointments. So I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm a longtime environmentalist, and I see this as a major step into making sure that we combat and conquer climate change. So I championed a bill, or rather a ordinance that required 100% electrification of all new buildings. And we're trying to figure out some way to finance electrification of older houses, mainly for lower income housing. You know, they're houses that need electrification, but there aren't the finances to do so. So I'm looking for equity across the efforts of electrification. And I do want to give a shout out to Ben Choi, who was on the city council with me, and I'm glad to be working with him again.
Thank you, Director Martinez. Ross.
Yes, hi, everyone. I'm Bill Kircher. I'm a council member in the town of Ross in Marin County. I was elected in 2020 and became the Ross delegate to MCE then. So I'm just finishing up my 3rd year on MCE. And I'm the Ross delegate in part because I replaced someone who was the Ross delegate to MCE, but also I was happy to accept the appointment because I've always placed a very high priority on the environment and environmental protection, and particularly in recent years on the changing climate, global warming, and the dire necessity to do everything we can to mitigate and prevent the effects of further warming. I'm also the alternate delegate to the Marin County Council of, Council of Mayors and Council Members Committee on Climate Action, and have attended some of those meetings. Anyway, I'm very, very proud to serve as a director. I think the work that MCE doing is incredibly important, and I think MCE has had a huge impact and will continue in the future. Happy to be a part of it.
Thank you, Director Kircher. San Anselmo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Feynman. I'm representing San Anselmo. I was appointed to my council seat in 2019, elected in 2020, and I've served as alternate to this board for a couple of years. But I am new to this group because I didn't always get a heads up if the previous director wasn't available. So I apologize for not being there if San Anselmo was ever not represented. I am really passionate about climate action and both mitigation and adaptation. I spent a year chairing the countywide group that Director Kirchner was just mentioning, really kind of a learning and practice group for officials across Marin, and have spent the last several years on council trying to figure out sort of how to operationalize our adopted but sometimes forgotten climate action plan, and just thinking about the mechanisms and capacity building work that's really needed to do that. So I'm obviously thrilled to be here. MCE is just an amazing organization and such a beacon of hope. So yeah.
Thank you, Director Feynman. San Pablo.
Oh, did you want the other San Anselmo person to talk as well? No. Okay.
No, just is your alternate here? Would she like to, she was at the orientation on yesterday, but if she would like to speak, yes.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I have my camera off. I'm sick. So I'm Terrell Kellaway. I was just elected to our town council, and I, in my day job, am an active transportation advocate. So I'm very interested to know how we can include e-bikes in our e-vehicle funding. Thanks.
Thank you. San Pablo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia Ponce, and I represent the city of San Pablo. San Pablo's population is around 32,000, and I was originally assigned to MCE in 2020, but since I've been requesting to return, so this will be my third year, and I want to continue with this organization because I think it's doing amazing work to fight climate change, and all the programs like someone mentioned for the youth and so forth. It's just amazing group of people, and I would like to continue learning from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ponce. San Pablo. Oh, I'm sorry. You just spoke. San Rafael.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Maika Llorens Gulati, and I am a council member, vice mayor this year for the city of San Rafael. I was elected in November of 2020, and I joined the MCE board in 2021. I'm very passionate about the environment and in the work that I do in my day job. And the reason I wanted to join MCE is because I think MCE is doing amazing work, but also I represent District 1 in San Rafael, which includes the canal. And I think the climate change is really impacting our underserved communities the most. And I would love to see equity as we bring more initiatives to underserved communities. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and did I mention that we have about 60,000 people in San Rafael? So nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Director Gelati. San Ramon.
Hi, I'm Scott Perkins. I'm on the City Council in San Ramon. I've been with MCE, I think, for about 5 years. I'm on the Tech Committee and I'm on the Ad Hoc Contracts Committee. I joined because I really believe that giving people a choice in their decisions for where to get power was important. And MCE has come through in so many positive ways, and I'm just thrilled to be part of the board. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Perkins. Sausalito.
Hi, everybody. Janelle Kelman, Sausalito City Council, served as the mayor last year. This is my third year, moving on to third year in MCE. I think Supervisor Rice really nailed it. I'm just wanting to be here because I have the opportunity to learn from you all and feel inspired and develop a sense of community. And so just want to thank each and every one of you. I've seen you across other opportunities around climate. My background is an environmental lawyer. Full disclosure, I did work for PG&E for 6 years, but don't hold it against me. Very excited to really focus on kind of three main things: decarbonization, intergenerational equity, and adaptation. I'm leading a blue economy ecosystem development concept in Sausalito right now, focused on decarbonization and electrification of transportation. I also want to take the opportunity to give a shout out to Eli Beckman, who had his first sustainable ADU up and running this week. So Eli, great job. So proud of you, man. And really honored to be a part of this incredible group. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Director Kilman. Solano County.
Hi, I'm Supervisor Vasquez and I represent the unincorporated areas of Solano County. I'm entering my 6th term and we were allowed by the PUC to join MCE in 2019, February of 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Vasquez. Vallejo.
Howdy, I'm Councilmember Charles Polaris from the city of Vallejo. I'm a military veteran and now I work in manufacturing. I was just recently elected and I was thankfully appointed to the MCE board. I just got sworn in yesterday. I fully intend to aggressively push for climate action, reduce greenhouse gases, electrify everything, building walkable, bikeable, equitable neighborhoods. And I'm a big believer that the real front line in this fight against climate change is in localities, right? Cities and counties. So I'm really glad to meet all of you and I look forward to collaborating with all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Polaris. Walnut Creek.
Okay, last one. Cindy Darling. I've been on Walnut Creek City Council for 2 years and been on MCE for 2 years. I serve with Kevin Haroff and others on the executive committee. And I'm doing it because it's a whole lot of fun and it's great to see. I was with the state of California back in the original energy crisis around 2000. And it's just great to finally get to build something that's a little bit better than the way that operated. So I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you, Director Darling. That completes our introductions and I will roll back over to our chair.
Thank you. And we have a rock star board of directors. I tell you that, with just the backgrounds are amazing. And I just look forward to working with you all. I am moving on to item 5, our report from our CEO.
Great, thank you, Chair. I am so excited to be kicking off the first meeting of the year with all of you. And I want to thank the board for allowing space for the introductions. We only make space for that very rarely. I think it's been 5 or 6 years since the last time. So hope you will remember all the faces and the great input from everyone. Our meetings tend to be very focused on business and policy and programs. And so it's rare that we get to know each other a little bit. Hopefully we'll get to continue getting to know each other as we start meeting in person again next month. But I'd like to start off my report with some staffing updates. First, we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of MCE employee Ben Choi, who was mentioned earlier. He joins the ranks of 4 other employees who've been with MCE for 10 years or more. And I just wanted to point out that Ben is a Richmond resident. He's a former Richmond City Council member, and he's amazing at building strong relationships with our customers and communities. He's an excellent listener and problem solver, and he is often fielding calls and inquiries from folks in our community. So just wanted to highlight that. And next, I wanted to introduce several new staff members. First of all, Lillian Mirvis has joined our policy team as a senior legislative manager. I believe she's with us now. So if you're on the screen, Lillian, you can wave so folks can see you. Lillian will be focusing on transportation electrification, leading some of our legislative advocacy at the state and federal level. She'll also be focusing on distributed energy resources, and she comes to us with a lot of prior experience advocating for transportation electrification at Lucid Motors, and is from an energy family. Her parents met at the California Energy Commission back in the 80s. So big welcome to Lillian. And Lillian, if you want to say hello, feel free.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to be joining MCE. So great to meet all of you tonight. And I'm sure I'll be back. I know that we're doing a policy update tonight, but I'll be back in future meetings and doing it as well.
Thank you. And then the other staff update I wanted to give is we have 8 new interns that I will quickly introduce. They are with us, so they'll get to wave, say hello on the screen. First, we have Ray, let's see if I can get this right. Raylan Affel. She is working on our finance team and lives with her family in Vacaville. She learned about MCE through her parents in Vallejo, who saw MCE on their bill. So Raynillan, I'm afraid I'm totally messing up your name. I still need to learn it, but would you like to say hello?
Hi, yeah, it's Raina Lynn, but you can call me Ray for short.
Wonderful, Raina Lynn. Thank you so much. It's great to have you with us. Next, I want to introduce Gabe Lobet and Marcos Vega, who are working on the customer operations team. Gabe is looking forward to learning more about the work being done at the intersection of clean energy and equity, and he heard about the internship through climatebase.org. And Marcos is a San Rafael High student who wants to learn more about climate change and hopes this internship will impact his future career decisions. Gabe and Marcos, do you want to say hello?
They had a drop off momentarily,
Okay,
but
no problem. All right, and next, moving along, Sonam Lobsang is a recent graduate of UC Berkeley who is working with the community engagement team. He has a background in community events and youth education and is passionate about the interplay between people and the environment and what communities can do to safeguard our planetary future. Sonam was referred to us by our community partner, San Pablo EDC. So thank you, San Pablo, for spreading the word about our internship opportunities. Sonam, do you want to say hello?
Hello, it's great to be a part of all of this.
Great to have you with us. Next, we have Millie Patel, who is working on our legal team and is interested in learning different aspects of legal and HR. Millie is also excited to learn and help develop a way to standardize current contracts and renewal processes. So we're excited about that. Millie, do you want to say hello? Okay, might have lost Millie. I'll move on to Samantha Ramirez, who is working for our HR team and is studying civil engineering at San Francisco State. Samantha is looking forward to networking, understanding the importance of workplace culture, and learning how to communicate in a professional environment. She heard about the internship through YouthWorks in Richmond. Samantha, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi, I'm really excited to work with all of you guys.
Wonderful. Okay, and I just got word that Ben Choi is also with us. I wanted to circle back to congratulating him on his 10-year anniversary. Ben, do you want to say a quick hello?
Oh, I'm just really tickled to be here, and I'm a little shocked that it's been 10 years, but it's great to see so many friendly faces. These are the folks I liked, that I really had good times at conferences with, and so it's great to see everybody. It's great to see Mayor Martinez especially. I'm a little surprised that his backdrop doesn't include a picture of me on a kayak because that's part of my normal route. But yeah, glad to be here. And 10 years doesn't really seem like 10 years. Thank you all.
We got to see you in the hood, Ben. We're neighbors, sort of neighbors.
Yeah, wonderful. And then 2 more interns I want to introduce. Mike Rodriguez Vargas is working on the strategic initiatives team and is attending school in Santa Cruz. Mike, do you want to say hello?
Yes, nice to meet all of you guys, and I'm really happy to be here.
Wonderful. And lastly, Amika Zayalaf is working on our internal operations team. She was born and raised in Laos and lives in El Sobrante. She's looking forward to advancing her project management and analytical skills and was also referred to us by San Pablo EDC. So thank you to San Pablo for spreading the word. And Amika, do you want to say hello?
Hi, thank you for the introduction, Dawn. Hello, everyone.
Great, thank you so much. And if I missed any of the interns in saying hello, last call for a quick hello. Awesome. So I want to shift gears now and and also thank our HR team for managing the process to onboard these new team members and our third cohort of interns. Through our work in the workforce development category, we've really spent a lot of time trying to spread the word in our community, particularly to young people who might not otherwise hear about energy opportunities, and trying to broaden the folks that are hearing about what we're doing, and get more interns learning about what MCE does. So we've been really lucky to hire some of our interns onto the team full-time after their internships. So this program has been a huge success for MCE and our staff, and we're really excited to welcome everyone. The next thing I want to talk about is recent bill inquiries, and I expect some of you have heard about this, and I wanted to provide some background. Earlier this week, Darlene sent an email summarizing MCE's response to recent customer bill inquiries. Many people are experiencing higher than usual electricity bills, and some have been reaching out to their local representatives or commenting via social media with questions. And this is unusual. This is an unusual kind of stars aligning with a number of issues that I think are leading to the concerns that we're seeing. Bill increases this time of year are typical because rate changes tend to happen in January, and folks tend to use more gas and electricity because of the weather. But on top of this, a PG&E billing error in our area recently caused about 7,500 customers to receive 2 months of MCE electric generation charges on a single bill. This wasn't a double charge because these customers were not charged for electricity generation on their December bills. So if they were comparing their January bill to their December bill, they saw a very big increase, obviously, because the generation charges weren't on the December bill. The January bill was extremely high. Many solar customers are also seeing generation charges for their bills for the first time this year, as many of them have used up all of their available generation credits that they accumulated over the summer months. So our in-house service center team of 8 has been working really hard with affected customers and directing them to PG&E payment plans where needed to offset the immediate financial impacts. The biannual $90 California climate credit that we've talked about before, this is expected to hit customer bills soon. The legislator voted to speed up that process to account for this issue. And this is going to further defray some of the impact of these costs. The California climate credit is actually part of the state's effort to fight climate change, and it actually requires power plants, natural gas providers, and other large industries that emit greenhouse gases to buy carbon pollution permits. The credits represent each customer's share of the program payment, and it's typically provided over 2 bills in April and May. But due to the higher energy costs across all of California electricity customers, the state is issuing the credit earlier. So I'm happy to answer any questions about bills, if anyone has a question now. Okay, and if not, I will move on to the next topic, just a couple more topics here. Federal funding. I'm really excited to share that MCE received $3.25 million in federal funding to support our healthy homes, our EV charging rebates, and our energy storage programs. And our staff is getting to work to expand our impact in all of those areas. I also want to thank our board members, Director Murphy and Director Quinto, who helped us by traveling to DC last year and meeting with our delegation to talk about these earmark requests. It had a great result, so we're excited to bring those dollars home to deepen our impact in our community. And next, low-income EV rebates. So really exciting news on our electric vehicle program. We have now given out over $1 million in EV rebates to more than 300 low-income Bay Area drivers. So you may recall that we have an electric vehicle purchase program that is only for income qualified customers, and we've now given out over $1 million to them. So we're really excited to see so much uptake in this program. We're also improving our rebate program this summer to offer the rebate at the point of sale instead of after the customer has paid for the car. And this will help with some of the upfront costs, and hopefully even more folks will be able to take advantage of the rebates. And then the last thing I wanted to announce is that we recently issued a request for information to own our own resources. So we're looking for bids from developers or companies that would want to work with us on getting a project set up that we would own. And we would be the first California CCA to own energy generation resources. This request for information was released in January, and we're looking for a 95 to 100% carbon-free project that would be turnkey, meaning that it would be developed for us and we would be able to own it. We're looking for projects that are already operational or would be ready for construction. And I'll mention that becoming a full or partial owner of energy generation resources could lower MCE's costs, and that savings could be passed on to customers as a lower bill or expanded programs. The due date for bids is March 3rd, so we should have some information soon on what comes in. And the last thing I'll say about this is that it is because of new federal legislation that allows the ITC tax credits to be used by a public agency that we are able to launch into this opportunity. In the past, we've purchased power through power purchase agreements and have not been able to own the generation assets. So this would be new, and we're really excited about it. I think it's one of the things we'll be working on in 2023. And that's it for my report. Happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from members of the board on the report?
There are no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any comments from members of the public?
No raised hands.
All right. Don, I guess you gave the best report. All right. Item 6 is the consent calendar. We have 2 items on consent. Would any members of the board like to remove any items from the consent calendar? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll move consent calendar.
Record here. A second.
All right, I believe we have a motion by Director Perkins and a second by Director Thayer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Belvedere. Benicia.
Yes.
Concord.
Yes.
Contra Costa County.
Yes.
Corte Madera.
Yes.
Danville.
Yes.
El Cerrito.
Yes.
Fairfax.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Lafayette.
Yes.
Larkspur.
Yes.
Marin County.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Mill Valley.
Yes.
Moraga.
Aye.
City of Napa.
Yes.
County of Napa, and all 4
Yeah.
Napa cities.
Yes.
Oakley.
Yes.
Pinole.
Yes.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pleasant Hill. Richmond.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
San Anselmo.
Yes.
San Pablo.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
That's okay. Thank you. San Rafael.
Aye.
San Ramon.
Yes.
Sausalito.
Yes.
Solano County.
Yes.
Tiburon.
Yes.
Vallejo.
Aye.
Walnut Creek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is item number 7. This item is the Charles F. McGlashan Advocacy Award. I'm excited to hear from MCE Senior Community Development Manager, Sebastian Kahn, as he present this year's award winners.
Thank you, Chair Skelos Preston. Hello, members of the board. My name is Sebastian Kahn. I've been with the agency for 3 years, and I serve as our Senior Community Development Manager. It is my distinct honor this evening to present the winners of the 2022 Charles F. McGlashan Advocacy Award. Next slide, please. And since we do have several new board members this evening, I thought it would be great to give some background about Charles F. McGlashan and the award. The Charles F. McGlashan Advocacy Award was established in order to commemorate and memorialize the life and legacy of environmental leadership left behind by former founding MCE Chair Charles F. McGlashan. Charles F. McGlashan was an environmental visionary and helped pave the way for community choice aggregation in California. As a member of the Marin County Board of Supervisors, McGlashan championed the idea that clean, renewable energy can be provided directly to homes and businesses at stable and competitive rates through the formation of a locally controlled joint powers authority. That vision became a reality in 2008 when McGlashan partnered with County of Marin staff to launch MCE, California's first community choice aggregation program. 15 years later, we're here in 2023, and MCE now serves 580,000 customer accounts throughout 37 communities. McGlashan helped start a renewable energy movement, and now there are over 11 million customers throughout the state of California that are served by community choice aggregation providers. Next slide, please. MCE would not have been made possible without Charles McGlashan. And additionally, we would not be where we are today without the hard work and dedication of community advocates dedicated to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. That is why I'm proud to announce the 2022 winners of the Charles F. McGlashan Advocacy Award. And as a reminder for this group, on December 2nd, 2022, the MCE Executive Committee unanimously approved a motion to present the award to the recipients that I am about to recognize. Next slide, please. Our first winner of the award is Napa Green. Napa Green is the first sustainable wine growing program globally to redevelop vineyard certification standards to focus on climate action, regenerative carbon farming, and social equity. Napa Green's vineyard certification program provides a pathway for wine growers to improve soil health, become carbon neutral to negative within 6 to 9 years, and increase community resiliency. As part of the program certification, Napa vineyards are awarded points for installing EV charging and opting up to MCE's Deep Green. In 2022, Napa Green promoted MCE's Deep Green service option by installing signage at all 12 wineries within Napa County that have opted up to 100% renewable service. And in 2023, Napa Green will partner with MCE to organize the annual Rise Climate and Wine Symposium, a gathering aimed at accelerating climate action within the wine growing community. Next slide, please. Our next winner is Matt Velasco. He's the Director of Maintenance, Operations, and Transportation at the Pittsburgh Unified School District. Matt has led the school district's efforts to purchase 3 new electric school buses, install 1.6 megawatts of energy storage across 10 schools to help the schools keep the lights on during power outages, and participate in MCE strategic energy management and energy efficiency programs to lower costs and emissions across the district. Matt has leveraged his role as Director of Maintenance, Operations, and Transportation to further PUSD's progress as an environmental and renewable energy leader. Next slide, please. And our final recipient of the McGlashan Award this evening is Sarah Bellafronte, Assistant to the City Manager at the City of Pittsburgh. Sarah has worked closely with MCE staff to integrate MCE's programs within the city's capital improvement plan. And to date, the City of Pittsburgh has reserved $95,000 in rebates towards new electric vehicle charging stations. Sarah's strategic visioning on electric vehicle charging infrastructure will enable 18 new charging ports to be installed in 2023 alone. Sarah also organizes the annual Pittsburgh Green Footprint Festival, a community event that celebrates environmental stewardship efforts in Pittsburgh. Through Sarah's leadership, approximately 300 youth on an annual basis are able to experience exhibits, activities, and entertainment that inspires environmental awareness and respect for the earth. Next slide, please. So thank you, board members, for the opportunity to present tonight's winners. And Chair Skills Preston, I'll turn things back over to you.
Thank you, Sebastian. It's my pleasure to congratulate all of the recipients tonight and to thank you for your partnership with MCE. Thank you so much, Anna from Napa Green, for all that you're doing to spearhead sustainability in the wine industry. I know there's much excitement for the upcoming Napa Rise Symposium that MCE is sponsoring. Also, as mayor of Pittsburgh, I'm especially proud of the great work that has been done by Matt Velasco of the Pittsburgh Unified School District and Sarah Belafonte from the city of Pittsburgh. Thank you all for all you do in creating positive change in our community. I believe Sarah was unable to attend tonight, but I'd love to give Anna from Napa Green and Matt from Pittsburgh Unified School District an opportunity to say a few words this evening. Sarah, would you like to say a few words?
Chair Skills President, I think Sarah is unavailable this evening.
All right, I think I seen Matt on the line.
You certainly did.
All right, the floor is yours, Matt.
Good evening, Madam Chair and others on this call. I want to just say that I humbly and graciously accept this honor on behalf of myself, but also as a member of a really high-performing team there at Pittsburgh Unified School District. We have been great partners with MCE for several years. We participate in several of the programs and opportunities to help decarbonize and reduce our footprint, our carbon footprint there within the community. We are working on the battery project. We're extremely proud of that. Being an industry leader in the education sector is something that we really hold in high regard and high esteem. And our partners there at MCE have been phenomenal in helping promote that and to help support that both financially and with other support in terms of the EV chargers and the battery programs. We're very proud of the changes that we've made. We're very proud of the climate leaders that our scholars that attend our schools are. And I thank you so much for this honor and look forward to a great continued partnership for many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate all that you're doing. Are there any questions from members of the board for staff?
Chair, Anna she was, I think, a part of the award.
Yes.
And I think she was kind of overlooked.
I'm happy to jump in. I'm happy to jump in.
I'm so sorry, Anna.
No worries. There's a lot of people here and
This is my first meeting I'm chairing. So we have 3 pages on Zoom I'm trying to click through. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
You are doing a lot here. Absolutely. No, yeah, I'm the CEO and executive director of Napa Green. For those of you who don't know us, we're a leading sustainable wine growing certification program for wineries and vineyards. Our goal is to set the highest bar for sustainability and climate action in the global wine industry. And we're really grateful for the partnership we've had with MCE for many, many years. We promote the Deep Green program and the EV charger incentives to all of our members. And as was just said, MCE is going to be helping to sponsor our Rise Climate and Wine Symposium. So I have to put a shameless plug in here for any and all of you to come and join us at that symposium if you're interested in accelerating sustainability and climate action in the wine industry. It's relevant to anyone in that sector. And I just finally have to do a shout out to the Vallejo and Solano County representatives because I actually live in Vallejo, so I'm not actually in Napa County. But thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for this honor and award. We're really grateful. Have a great night.
Thank you, Anna, and we appreciate everything you do. All right.
Chair, Director Painter had her hand raised.
Thank you.
Oh, I only had my hand raised to make sure that Anna had a chance to speak. So I put my hand down. Thank you so much. And congratulations, Anna. Super proud of everything Napa Green does.
Are there any comments from the public, Madam Clerk?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Okay. Bringing it back to the board, just to make sure I didn't miss anyone, if there was any comments. All right, seeing none. The next item.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, do you see a raised hand?
Director Thier just raised her hand.
I just wanted to congratulate all of the winners and thank them for their work. And that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
I see no additional hands raised.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next item, item number 8. This item is 2022 MCE Climate Action Leadership Award. I would like to call upon Stephanie Chan, our Director of Legislative Affairs, to give us some background information about this significant award.
Thank you so much, Director Scales Preston. Good evening, everyone. By way of background, the Climate Action Leadership Award was created in 2020 as a way to recognize and celebrate policymakers and advocates who have made significant contributions towards California's fight against climate change through clean energy policies that benefit CCA customers. Each year, MCE's staff recommend and the board has selected an individual who has made an important impact in the past year or over an extended career in service in these areas. And at the tail end of last year, at the December Executive Committee meeting, members approved awarding this year the 2022 Leadership Award to the 4 federal senators and members of Congress who championed MCE's first ever community-directed spending proposals, which Dawn mentioned earlier in the meeting. So I would actually like to call on a few of our board members to do the introductions and the virtual presentation of awards to our award recipients. So I'd first like to turn it over to Director Scales Preston.
Thank you. And I am honored to introduce this next award to Senator Dianne Feinstein. Senator Feinstein has served California in the Senate since 1992 and has championed several climate and clean energy policies, including increasing automotive fuel efficiency and restoration of natural lands, improving California water infrastructure, and reducing the threat of wildfires. Over the last 30 years, Senator Feinstein has served in key leadership roles on several Senate committees, often as the first woman to hold that role. Prior to her election to the Senate, Senator Feinstein served as San Francisco County Supervisor for 9 years, as well as Mayor of San Francisco for another 8 years. Senator Feinstein's leadership has secured billions of dollars for California communities across a wide range of issue areas. In 2022, Senator Feinstein submitted 2 community-directed spending requests on behalf of MCE. The new effort in our energy storage and healthy homes program. For her support of MCE and our programs, it is a pleasure to present Senator Feinstein with MCE's Climate Action Leadership Award.
And we do have pre-recorded acceptance remarks from all of our awardees. Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Senator Dianne Feinstein. I'm awful sorry that I can't be with you to receive this award in person, but I want you to know that I'm grateful for it, And I also appreciate MCE's dedication to promoting and expanding access to clean energy in California. Unfortunately, Californians understand all too well the threat climate change poses to us. From deadly wildfires to historic drought to unrelating atmospheric rivers, California has borne the brunt of the climate crisis. I believe that's a fact. But we're also leading the way in adopting clean energy from renewable resources like solar, wind, and geothermal. Our state is actually on track to produce an amazing 100% of its energy from clean sources by 2045. And MCE has been a big part of that progress. In just over a decade since you were founded, you have, 1, eliminated more than 700,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. You have saved customers, I'm told, $31.5 million on their energy bills. But you have built 48 renewal projects and supported more than 6,000 clean energy jobs. And you can now boast that 95% of your energy is carbon free. Wow, that's an incredible amount of accomplishments in such a short period of time. But what I'm particularly impressed with is your dedication to promoting clean energy options for low and moderate income families, as well as in schools, libraries, and other public agencies. These are really the communities most impacted by pollution and climate change, so that's good. I'm proud of everything California has done so far, and I understand that this fight doesn't end at our state's borders. We need a much stronger response from the federal government, and I'll do everything I can to get that. For decades, I've fought for common sense solutions to solve the climate crisis. As chair of appropriations on energy and water, I've actually been able to steer some unprecedented amounts of federal funding to projects that reduce greenhouse gas and promote clean energy projects. So I am hopeful and somewhat confident that with the support of you, MCE, and other clean energy champions, we're going to be able to rise to meet the challenge. And I'm really very grateful for the support of MCE and for this award. And I want you to know this. Thank you so much.
All right, next I would love to call on Director Murphy to introduce Senator Alex Padilla.
Absolutely, thank you. Tonight I have the distinct honor of introducing Senator Alex Padilla. Senator Padilla was appointed in January 2021 to complete the term of Vice President Kamala D. Harris and was recently elected to a full 6-year term. Senator Padilla is the first Latino to represent California in the Senate. He serves on several key committees, including Environment and Public Works, and has already emerged as a champion for working families, climate action, and other values-driven priorities. Prior to his appointment to the U.S. Senate, Senator Padilla served as California Secretary of State, during which time California reached the highest percentage of eligible citizens registered to vote in 80 years. Before that, Senator Padilla served 2 terms in the California State Senate, where he chaired the Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Communications for 6 years. During his chairmanship, Senator Padilla was instrumental in advancing grid modernization and developing California's ambitious renewable energy and climate policies. In 2022, Senator Padilla submitted 2 community-directed spending requests on behalf of MCE for our energy storage and our electric vehicle charging station programs. For his support of MCE and our programs, it is my pleasure to present Senator Alex Padilla with MCE's Climate Action Leadership Award.
Hi, I'm Senator Alex Padilla, and it's my honor to accept Marine Clean Energy's Climate Action Leadership Award. In the fight to combat the climate crisis and protect our planet, we need leaders from every corner of our country to step up. That's why I'm so grateful to have all of you at MCE as partners in this fight, helping families in the Bay Area join the clean energy transition. When I think about climate change and the future of our country, I think about our kids. What we do today to reduce emissions and transition to a clean energy economy will affect their health and well-being in the future. And if we don't act now, their generation will have to live with the consequences. So whether it's how we choose to heat our homes in California or what bills we support in Washington, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of planet do we want our kids to inherit? In the Senate, I fought for policies that move us towards a clean energy future. Last year, I was proud to help pass the largest investment in our nation's history to combat the climate crisis. The Inflation Reduction Act is committing $369 billion to clean energy, environmental justice, and climate change programs over the next decade. That's enough to put the U.S. on track to lower carbon emissions by around 40%. It's also bringing new tax credits for middle and lower income Americans to buy electric vehicles, along with a decade's worth of consumer tax credits to help make homes more energy efficient. But as you know, there's still more work to do. That's why I was also proud to help secure funding for 2 of MCE's projects in the most recent federal appropriations package, with $500,000 to help expand grid capacity by incentivizing energy storage in homes and critical facilities, and $2 million to expand your electric vehicle charging program. We have a tremendous opportunity to fast-track our clean energy transition in the Bay Area. And with your help, every day we're one step closer to turning the tide of the climate crisis. And I won't stop until we do. Thank you again for this award, and keep up the fight.
Next, I'd like to ask Director Quinto to introduce Representative John Garamendi.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. I am honored to introduce Congressman John Garamendi. Congressman Garamendi was first elected to the California State Legislature in 1974, where, among many of his other accomplishments, he authored the nation's first solar, wind, and energy conservation tax credit. Congressman Garamendi was appointed Deputy Secretary of the Interior in 1995, and in that role, he led to significant environmental restoration efforts in the Sacramento and San Joaquin River basins, the Delta, and the San Francisco Bay. He continues to be a leading advocate for a comprehensive statewide water plan. Congressman Garamendi has also served as California's Insurance Commissioner and Lieutenant Governor, and has chaired the State Land Commission and Commission for Economic Development. Congressman Garamendi was first elected to the House of Representatives in 2009 and has been a champion for domestic jobs, climate action, infrastructure investments, rural communities, and family farmers, among many other important national and local priorities. In 2022, Congressman Garamendi submitted a community-directed spending request to expand the impact of MCE's Healthy Homes program. For his support for MCE and our programs, it is my pleasure to present Congressman John Garamendi with MCE's Climate Action Leadership Award.
Well, good evening. It's good to be with you, even though this is a recording and I'm not with you live on Zoom. However, I really want to congratulate you for the terrific work that you've done over the last 12 years. In 2010, when you started your program, reaching out to try to resolve the issues of energy in the built environment. Turns out that the built environment is the largest single sector for the emissions of carbon throughout the United States and really around the world. So your attack on it is extremely important. And there's so many, many things that can be done. Some of these things are not new. Way back in the 70s, when I was in the California legislature, we were talking about how to create a better energy situation or energy conservation in a house. And some of those programs still exist today, both at the federal and the state level. But the problem is people don't know how to access that, don't know how to get in line to get the support that is available out there. But that's what you do. And so MCE is very, very important. Important for individuals who want to reduce the cost of maintaining their home, the energy issues that go into it, heating and cooling, and in a larger context, in reducing carbon emissions. And so please keep going at it. I'm delighted that we were able to put together a community funding project. $750,000 isn't going to solve all of the problems, but it's going to give you the ability to reach out to even more people. And in my district, you're really important because there's so much need. We have many, many older houses, some that have no insulation at all, and others that have so much more that can be done. And so I look forward to working with you in the days and months ahead, because we can and we must really deal with the built environment and the energy conservation programs that go with it. So here we go. The year's out ahead of us. I'm going to be in and out of your turf and my turf as I continue my work here in Washington and in the district. I'm excited about working with you. Thank you so very much for what you've done for the last 12 years. Carry on. I'll be there with you, not just in spirit, but in the hard, heavy shovel work that's out ahead. Have a great evening.
And finally, I'd like to ask Director Rice to introduce Representative Jared Huffman.
All right. So I am honored to introduce Congressman Jared Huffman. Congressman Huffman was first elected to Congress in November of 2012, and he's built a track record of strong leadership on a wide.
I'm gonna show my daughter. I'm gonna bring it upstairs.
Hey, Holly, you need to mute. And has built a track record of strong leadership on a wide range of environmental issues, including climate action, climate resiliency, and protecting California's coastlines, waters, and wildlife. Before he was elected to Congress, Congressman Huffman represented the North Bay for 6 years in the California Assembly, where he played a leading role in crafting landmark water reforms in 2009. He also authored several key pieces of legislation, including California's first lighting efficiency standards and the nation's largest program for solar hot water heating. Before his election to the California Assembly, Congressman Huffman worked as a senior attorney for the National Resources Defense Council, where his work included a restoration agreement for a 153-mile stretch of the San Joaquin River. Congressman Huffman also served as director of the Marin Municipal Water District for 12 years. And this year, Congressman Huffman submitted a community-directed spending request to expand and deepen MCE's electric vehicle charging station program. For his long-standing support of MCE and our programs, it is my pleasure to present Congressman Jared Huffman with MCE's Climate Action Leadership Award.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be selected for this prestigious award. It is beautiful. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to find a good place in my San Rafael District office to proudly display it. So I want to start by thanking the staff and the members of the board for Marin Clean Energy. Appreciate all the good work that you've done, and congratulations on the tremendous growth that you've had since your founding. It really does seem like yesterday that I was talking to Charles McGlashan and Dawn and others sitting in my assembly office at the Civic Center about the formation of Marin Clean Energy. And there were so many questions and so many possibilities, but also so many challenges and ways in which the program we feared could fail. But it's incredible the way you've beaten the odds and exceeded all expectations. So thank you for all of that. Since those early days in Marin, you've expanded MCE's reach to include Napa, Solano, Contra Costa counties. Importantly, you have retained the formidable Don Weiss as your CEO since 2010, so congratulations for that. I know I don't need to tell any of you that it's been an uphill battle for the global community who's working to reduce the impacts of climate change and to make this transition to renewable energy. We certainly have our challenges, but leadership on the local level with community-based solutions like yours really are one of the ways we're going to get this done. It is an important way to drive change, from providing clean energy to expanding your service area with a commitment to equity. I'm just so proud of the way Marin Clean Energy has done all these things. You are the real deal. And as your campaign to make electric vehicles accessible for low and moderate income families and communities is rolling out, that's another great way that folks who are impacted by pollution and climate change can be part of the solution. So thank you for that. At the federal level, I am excited to have helped deliver some historic funding through the Inflation Reduction Act, through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and that includes a lot of money that'll be rolling out for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So I just want you to know that as your partner in Congress, I'm going to keep working side by side with all of you to stand up reliable EV charging stations in your service areas and all over the country. We want drivers of EVs to have really easy access to this infrastructure, whether it is at their workplace or in their homes. The next 2 years are going to be full of challenges, of course, but I hope you know that I'll keep fighting to rid this planet of its reliance on fossil fuel and to fight back against any efforts in the Republican-led House to roll us back and keep us dependent on dirty energy. This work is way too important to sit back or to rest on our laurels. So I'll work just as hard as ever for our climate and to keep doing even more and bigger things in the years ahead. Thanks for being such great partners in this work. Thanks again for this honor. I really appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Thank you. That was wonderful, wonderful remarks from our Bay Area delegation. So appreciative of the support from our senators and our members of Congress, their strong support of MCE. Next year, we got to do that in person so that we get a chance to see them all in person and celebrate with them. All right, just want to circle back to see if there's any questions from our board for staff or any comments I'd like to share.
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any raised hands from members of the public?
There are none.
All right. We will see none. We will move on to item number 9. Item 9 is the election of vice chair in addition of board members to the committees. The first matter that we would like to take up is the election of vice chair. There are 2 candidates that have been nominated in writing before this meeting: Director Barbara Kohler and Director Gabe Quinto. I will entertain any additional nominations from the floor at this time. Madam Clerk, do you see any raised hands?
There are no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to offer time to Director Kohler and Director Quinto to make a campaign speech of approximately 3 minutes. They are not required to do so, but they are welcome to. Director Kohler?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chair Scales Preston. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been on this board for several years and seen a lot of changes over those years. I've seen a lot of turnover in the last few years, which brings a lot of new energy, new voices, new perspectives, which I think is really needed in this board. And I do think it's helpful to have someone providing assistance as the vice chair who does have more institutional background into where we started and where we are today and some of the various steps along the way. But other than that, just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm a scientist. I'm an environmental consultant with decades of experience as a high-level manager for state and regional government in environmental issues with 10 years as a local elected. I believe I do have the technical skills as well as the political expertise, but with some common sense to assist our agency. I do my homework. I try to provide input to staff early on so nobody's surprised at my questions and maybe get them resolved beforehand. I do care deeply about MCE and our mission and vision. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Quinto.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Gabe Quinto, former mayor and current council member for the city of El Cerrito. I have been a part of MCE as the alternate starting in 2016. And just very proud to be a part of this group of elected officials. I am also have been part of the executive committee. I'm currently on the executive committee. I've been in different subcommittees such as the compensation for our CEO and other miscellaneous subcommittees that I've been asked to be a part of. Last year, I did attend with Director Murphy. We did fly out to Washington, D.C., and we did deliver earmarks for the amount of $3.25 million to the MCE territory. So I'm very, very proud of that. And it's through our connections and our through in Washington, D.C. that we were able to meet face-to-face with Congressman Garamendi, with Congressman Huffman, and to speak to the Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, and our U.S. Senator's office. So it's a group effort. I'm also on the executive committee of the Contra Costa Mayors Conference, being chair a couple of years ago. I'm on the state board of the League of California Cities and currently am on the board of the policy committee of the Environmental Policy Committee. I personally know and have mentored a few of you there that are in part of this committee. And my previous life, I worked many years at an international law firm where I recruited an attorney that is part of our board here. So I know many of you. I'm currently on the executive committee of the Sierra Club Bay chapter, which is Marin County, San Francisco, Alameda, Contra Costa County. So it's combining with the work with what we do with on our county level, state level, and federal level. That's how small cities get things done. So I'm very, very proud to be part of this committee. And I humbly ask for your support to be vice chair. I don't think we've ever had an Asian American or a Filipino or an LGBT to be part of this committee. For my city, we are looking at making sure that we have every council member that is interested to be part of this committee will be a part of this committee. We have gotten rid of seniority. That will not exist. So, it's making sure our elected officials have every chance to be part of this fantastic board of directors. So I humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. As a reminder, our officer elections are subject to a majority vote. of the full board, not just those present. This means that 19 or more votes are needed to win. Also, our director from the county of Napa is representing 4 Napa cities as well. So he will represent 5 votes total. Our clerk will now call the roll so that each board member can cast a vote for one of our candidates. When you are called, please state the name of the candidate you would like to elect, and the clerk will tally the votes.
I have a quick question. Is it a majority of the board members present, or is it a majority of all board members?
It's a majority of all board members, and it's for election of officers and some other types of votes. According to our operating rules, we need to have a majority of all members, which just means it's a slightly higher bar on the number of votes needed for it to pass.
Thank you.
Are you ready, Chair?
Yes. Thank you.
Belvedere,
Director Kohler.
Benicia,
Director Quinto.
Concord,
Quinto.
Contra Costa County,
Director Quinto.
Corte Madera,
Kohler.
Danville,
Darlene, I think he got kicked out of the room somehow, and he just was promoted to a panelist, so he might need a minute to log back on.
Okay.
No, I'm back on. Apologize for having dropped off.
That's okay. Thank you.
That would be Director Quinto.
Thank you. El Cerrito,
Quinto.
Fairfax,
Kohler.
Fairfield,
Director Quinto.
Lafayette,
Director Quinto.
Larkspur,
Director Kohler.
Marin County,
Kohler.
Martinez,
Director Quinto.
Mill Valley,
Director Quinto.
Moraga,
Director Quinto.
City of Napa,
Director Quinto.
Napa County and all 4 Napa cities,
Director Kohler.
Oakley,
Quinto.
Pinole,
Quinto.
Pittsburgh,
Director Quinto,
Pleasant Hill, Richmond,
Director Quinto.
Ross,
Director Kohler.
San Anselmo,
Director Kohler.
San Pablo,
Director Quinto.
San Rafael,
Director Kohler.
San Ramon,
Quinto.
Sausalito,
Director Kohler.
Solano County, Solano County, Tiburon,
Director Kohler,
Vallejo,
Director Gabe Quinto.
Walnut Creek.
Director Quinto,
The final vote. Quinto, 23. Kohler, 11.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And I ask a
Actually, I want to, yeah, if I could make a comment, I did a count as well, and I came up with something different. So maybe we can compare, Darlene. I got 19 Quinto and 15 Kohler.
So can I just add, I was doing a count and I got 15 and I see Director Quinto getting 18. So I'm not sure, seems like there's a mix up in the count, so maybe we need to double check.
Yeah, let's double check. We can circle back to
I
it.
counted and came up with 19 to 15.
Let me check with our other board clerk, Jessica. I believe she was assisting as well. Jessica, what count did you come up with?
Hi, I also got 19 Quinto and 15 Kohler.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can recheck the math as well.
Yeah, and if it would be helpful to the board, just for plenty of transparency, we could call the names for each vote. Would that be?
I think that's fair for transparency. Call out the 19 jurisdictions, and then the 15. It was actually Napa counted for 5, as I saw it. Right.
Yeah, the county of Napa accounted for 5, and the city of Napa accounted for 1.
Right. And I now see that, yes, you're absolutely correct. The 5 was placed in the wrong column.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see Director Perry has a hand up.
Yeah, just a question on the Napa vote. Earlier it was mentioned that I think there's one city in Napa that I think might be represented here separately, and that Napa is represented by, I think it's 4 cities in the county. So maybe that is 5 votes, but I just wanted to clarify that because I think it might be different than when the former supervisor was on this board.
That is correct. Yes, the city of Napa now has its own separate vote. So the county of Napa is worth 5 votes because there are 4 cities that have allocated their vote to the county. So yeah, so why don't we run through the roll or the number of votes?
Director Rice?
Yeah, just is given that if Gabe doesn't, my count had Gabe at 19 as well, but if he doesn't, if no one has 19, would we just be voting again? What would be the protocol? Because I would respectfully ask my friend and colleague, Director Kohler, given that Director Quinto does have more votes, whether it's 18 or 19, if she would just step back and allow and give consent over to Director Quinto. They're both great qualified candidates, but just to avoid going through another vote again.
Yes, I would like to say, given what happened in December with the mix-up, I'd like to just make sure that the votes are correct before I do something like that. And I respectfully agree that that might be the way to go, but I'd like to just make sure this has been sort of hanging since December.
I think our board clerk can go through the count that she has just to verify, and if we have if there's anything different from what we have down, we can make a correction. And I do see a hand up from Director Thier.
Yes, thank you. This was a comment that I wanted to make before the vote. And I just wanted to say there's something that we say in Tiburon when we have multiple outstanding candidates for the same commission or post. And we say that we have an embarrassment of riches. And that's how I feel about this race. And no matter what the outcome is, I really want to thank both candidates for stepping forward. And both of you are amazing in your own right. And I really just wanted to say that, regardless of what this result is or what comes out, I just want to commend you for stepping forward to provide the leadership as vice chair of this organization.
Chair and Madam CEO, I did a recount and I have Kohler at 15 and Quinto at 19.
So I want to congratulate Director Quinto and wish him well and thank him for all his work to secure earmarks and really do a great job of representing this agency. And I think Chanel will find a continued great working relationship with him. So thank you for stepping forward, and I appreciate the support and also appreciate all folks who supported Director Quinto, who is really deserving. Thank you.
Chair, Director Quinto and Harif have their hands raised in that order.
Thank you, Darlene. I want to say thank you to Vice Mayor Kohler of Fairfax, and know that you and I have worked together in many of from the XCOM through this board and through the CEO compensation and dealing with the new types of energy that we decided to support recently. So know how much I enjoyed working with you, and we will continue to work together like we always have. So again, thank you for stepping up, and you and I have a lot of mutual friends together, and we will continue to work together. So know that, and that this board and me, Gabriel Quinto from El Cerrito, we support you, and we support Marin County, and we will support all of the territory of MCE. So thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Letitia Moore, one of our mutual friends.
Mayor Moore from El Cerrito.
Director Hara.
Oh, thanks. I want to just congratulate Gabe on the outcome of this. Look forward very much to working with him in this new capacity, as well as in the other roles that he plays on behalf of this organization. And I also wanted to express great thanks to Barbara Kohler, not only for her standing up for this position, but for the many years of service that she and I have both enjoyed with this organization and the contributions that she has made. And I want to just express my thanks and say that I look forward very much to working with both of them in every capacity that they are able and willing to perform for MCE Clean Energy. Thanks.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any other raised hands?
I see no additional raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. Well, I want to just congratulate you both. You both are wonderful directors to serve with on MCE. Congratulations, Director Quinto, and thank you so much, Director Kohler, for running for this position. I look forward to continue working with you both and just learning from you both as being someone newer here on MCE and knowing I can reach out to, get that institutional knowledge from, the past so that I can carry on towards the future. So just thank you again for stepping up to run. The second matter on this item is the addition of the board members to committees. Dawn, would you lead us on this?
Yes, it would be a pleasure. Thank you, Chair. I wanted to invite all of our new board members and any of our existing board members to consider joining one of our standing committees or both of our standing committees if you have the appetite for that. And also consider the ad hoc committees that we form that last for a year at a time. In your packet, there's a list of the various committees that we have in place, and there's also a description of what happens, at least on our two standing committees, as well as the current membership. The executive committee meets on the first Friday of each month at 12 o'clock noon. And one of the great things about joining this committee is once we start meeting in person, you'll get lunch. We'll serve lunch at these meetings. It's also a meeting where we do our agenda setting. We discuss and get direction on general issues related to MCE, including legislation, regulatory compliance, strategic planning, outreach and marketing, contacts with vendors, human resources, finances and budgeting, debt, rate setting, and agenda setting for the regular board meetings and the board retreat that happens on an annual basis. The executive committee has quite a bit of delegated authority, including legislative positions outside of the board approved legislative plan, procurement, and honorary awards, among others. So that is just a little summary of what happens at the executive committee. There are currently 12 members on the executive committee, and we have room for more. There's not a limit. We just need to be careful that we don't end up with a quorum of one committee in another committee. So that's just one thing we need to watch out for. I'll also just say a little bit about the technical committee. This is a committee where we take up matters related to greenhouse gas emissions, our power procurement portfolio, what types of power supply we're offering, and a number of other technical issues. We tend to get really into the weeds in this committee. I think we have an opportunity to approve power supply agreements in this committee. And we also talk about long-range integrated resource planning, as well as energy efficiency programs, electric vehicle programs. All of our other programs often come to this committee for input and guidance. This committee meets on the first Thursday of each month, bright and early at 8:30 a.m. There's room on this committee as well for members. I'll briefly describe the ad hoc committees, and then I'm happy to take nominations on any of these. The ad hoc contracts committee that has been formed for 2023 has 3 representatives on it already. Director Kohler, Director Haroff, and Director Perkins are serving on that committee, but there's room for more. The ad hoc committee for virtual power plant. This is a project that we've launched in Richmond, and we hope to expand in the future to other communities. And currently we have 5 members on that committee, but there's room for more. The ad hoc audit committee is in place for 2023 as well. It only has 3 members on it so far: Director Wilkinson, Fong, and Haroff. Certainly room for more. So are there any questions about any of the committees?
Supervisor Joya?
Supervisor Joya has his hand raised.
Yeah, I just had a question before really for everybody, before folks maybe decide, is the next item on the agenda is how we're going to hold our meetings, because where if people are going to start having to go to locations, and there are exceptions, I know we're going to talk about that, that may affect choices on going to meetings. So, but I know we're going to talk about that in the next item and also provide any further direction.
That's an excellent point. And I can give a quick summary of where we will likely be headed in the next item. We did talk about this at the executive committee meeting last couple of weeks ago. And there was a recommendation from the executive committee that we simply revert to the Brown Act, the way that we were handling meetings in the past, where just for new folks that may not be aware, we have two offices, one in Santa Fe, one in Concord. And for board meetings and committee meetings in the past, before the shelter in place requirements and all of COVID, we would meet in person at either location. Board members were welcome to come to either location. In some cases, folks preferred to go to their city hall or some other location to participate in the meeting virtually. And that is perfectly fine as long as staff is notified at least a week in advance. Really 10 days in advance is the cutoff so that we can get the address of the location onto the agenda. And the other requirement, of course, via the Brown Act is that we allow for members of the public to show up at any address where the meeting is being conducted.
So my question on that, just so under the provisions of the Brown Act, since a quorum have to be in person, so you're saying that a quorum have to be either at the Concord and Marin location? Is that so? A quorum have between the Contra Costa and the Marin location. A quorum have to be at one of those two locations, is my understanding, correct?
That is the requirement for the new bill that just got approved. And so we were contrasting that bill's authority with the Brown Act authority. And we were concerned about the requirement of having a quorum present all in one location because we hadn't been.
We just had an analysis of this by our county council. And my understanding is under either the traditional Brown Act rules where you have to post the agenda. And I've been dealing with this as chair of our board. So having to post if you post the agenda of where on the agenda, the address of the remote location, and you allow the public, you can do that an unlimited number of times as long as a quorum still goes in person to the regular meeting location.
Interesting. Yeah. In the past, we've had two meeting locations and they've been pretty equally divided most of the time.
Yeah. And it may be that that's why my question to you was whether if a quorum is at a combination of both of those two, you can have individual members post an agenda location and allow the public, whether it's my supervisor's office. I know Gabe did it at El Cerrito City Hall. So that's my question is the quorum is the cumulative of both the Marin and Contra Costa locations.
Catalina, I think, can answer.
Yes, our general counsel has her hand up. Please go ahead, Catalina.
Thanks. Yeah, happy to jump in on this. That is correct, Director Joya. The quorum has to participate from the jurisdiction of the governing body, and that's under the kind of default rules. Under AB 2449, it's from a singular physical location. So MCE being unique, having multiple counties, our jurisdiction allows us to have the two different offices and together cumulatively be able to establish that quorum. Whereas under AB 2449, we would be limited to that specific singular physical location.
Right. So under the traditional Brown Act, the two, but that's just important to know because that still means a majority has to be at both of those two to allow others to participate remotely from their office, whatever their office location is.
I think it could be a little bit more expansive because it's a quorum participating from locations within our jurisdiction. So arguably the city halls and local county offices within our service area would count as part of our jurisdiction to allow that remote attendance. But ideally, we would have the majority of people in person at either of those offices.
One last question. I don't mean to correct because like our county commissions, even though they're in Contra Costa County, don't count toward the quorum. it has to be for them one singular location of or our board of supervisors the same. So I'm not understanding how every city office can count toward the quorum, because that it didn't seem to jibe with the legal opinion we received from our county council. But
yeah, no, I appreciate that. And the language from the statute that we've relied on is the jurisdiction. It's within the jurisdiction of the governing body. And therefore, because we're multiple counties, that counts for our jurisdiction. But the 2449 rules made it more specific.
Just to know, the Air District doesn't read it the way you're reading it, because they're asking everyone to go into San Francisco. A majority has to be at the location in San Francisco, even though it's a 9-county jurisdiction. And then as long as a majority go to San Francisco, we can participate remotely. I'm just saying that's what General Counsel of the Bay Area Quality Management District is saying. So you just so we're legal, you may want to just consult and look at that. Because same with MTC, same with ABAG.
Okay, thank you for those details. Yeah.
So with that, are you interested in volunteering for a committee?
Director Murphy?
I am not volunteering for another committee. I feel like I'm on a lot. But I just want to say that I heard that there was lunch at executive committee meetings, and those of us who attend at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday may want some donuts. So if it doesn't come out of MCE's budget, one of the meetings, maybe I'll bring donuts for everybody or some kind of healthy snack. But I just heard that there's lunch for executive committee, and I've been doing some major recruitment for technical committee. So I'm hoping that we get some type of breakfast at 8 a.m.
There is plenty of coffee and definitely some pastries, and we'll do donuts for you.
But no, technical committee is a great committee, and I really encourage board members who are looking to learn about some of the work that MCE is doing intricately to join us at 8:30. I think it would be wonderful.
Director Passan?
Yeah, currently Concord is on the executive committee. Do we have to renominate ourselves, or is this just for additional stuff? So is it taken that all current incumbents are rolled over unless they said, let me out of here?
Everyone is rolled over in the standing committees, which is TechCom and XCOM. The ad hoc committees do dissolve at the end of the year. So if there's an ad hoc committee with the same name that's reappeared, you do need to rejoin an ad hoc.
Madam Clerk, do you see raised hands? Let me flip over the page.
I see no additional raised hands, Chair.
Director Palmares.
I'm sorry, Palmares.
Sorry, my brown emoji hand kind of blended in with the coat rack. Yeah, I'd like to volunteer for the technical committee. Sounds like it'd be fun.
Thank you for volunteering. All right, Director Murphy, you got to get some donuts there. I think you sold them.
That's all I really wanted was the donuts. I don't know if it was working.
Food would always get some elected.
Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah,
Director Martinez.
Yes, I'm trying to coordinate my schedule with the various committees and figuring out which ones I have time for. I do have an open spot for donuts, so the technical committee would be within my and let's see, the executive committee, the first Fridays of the month.
Yes.
Check my calendars. Is it I sometimes go to conferences that go on weekends. How many meetings would it be possible to miss because of conferences?
Question. Yeah. The main hindrance is our ability to achieve a quorum. So it can be difficult if we have members that are out more than 2 times a year. If your board alternate is willing to sit in for you when you're not able to attend, that would resolve the issue. But it would be ideal if you could aim for being at the majority, maybe missing no more than 2 per year.
Okay, well then sign me up for the executive. And the ad hoc committee for virtual power plant, how often does that meet?
I see our Chief Operating Officer, Viken Kasarjian, is here. Viken, would you like to speak to that?
Sure, we're gonna have our first meeting on February 22nd. And the agenda and the documents will be sent out by close of business tomorrow. And we're probably anticipating every 3 months, but the once a quarter meetings coming up.
And at what time?
Usually Jessica does a doodle poll and finds out what's most commonly available for everybody. But this is, I think, mid-after. Jessica, actually, I can look at it. Just a second.
Yeah, so this one in particular is at 9:30 to 10:30. And it's based on availability. So whenever I send those doodle pull outs, that's how it kind of works currently.
Okay. I hope I get a lot of medals for this. I'll sign up for that also.
Yeah, you're volunteering for 3 committees. We thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. This has been, something that Richmond has been proud of, and I want to, continue to represent pride and purpose.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Thayer?
Oh, yes, I wanted to offline have a conversation. If Viken is leading the virtual power plant committee, then I definitely want to be on it, even if there's no donuts. But I do need to talk to you offline about conflicts check, but
Okay.
you can put my name down and then we might,
Thank you, will do.
All right, I'm turning it back over to you, Dawn. Is there anything else that we might
Thank
need
you.
to?
Just any other nominations or anyone wants to volunteer, I guess I should say, any other volunteers for any committees? All right, and we will need to do a vote to add folks. I will run through who I've got here. Director Martinez has volunteered to join the executive committee. Director Palmeras and Martinez have volunteered to join the technical committee. And Director Martinez and Director Thayer have volunteered to join the Richmond BPP committee. Did I miss anyone? See, Director Perkins has a hand. Oh, nope, I'm sorry. Okay, and I don't see anyone else. So I think we can do a roll call.
Do we have a motion?
We need a motion.
I'll move that. Barbara
I'll second.
Kohler, Fairfax.
I'll second.
Centerville, second.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, ma'am. Belvedere. Benicia,
Yes.
Concord,
Yes.
Contra Costa County,
Yes.
Puerto Madera,
Yes.
Danville. El Cerrito,
Yes.
Fairfax.
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Lafayette,
Yes,
Larkspur,
Yes.
Marin County,
Yes.
Martinez,
yes,
Mill Valley,
Yes.
Moraga,
Aye.
City of Napa,
Yes.
County of Napa, and all 4 Napa cities.
Yes.
Oakley,
Yes.
Pinole,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Pleasant Hill, Richmond,
Yes.
Ross, San Anselmo,
Yes.
San Pablo,
Yes.
San Rafael,
Aye.
San Ramon,
Yes.
Sausalito,
Yes.
Solano County, Tiburon,
Yes.
Vallejo,
Aye.
Walnut Creek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is about in-person meetings and teleconferencing options under the Brown Act and AB 2449.
We're going to hear from our General Counsel, Catalina Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. Noting the time and that we've kind of had part of this discussion already, I'll try to be brief and then happy to field any questions. But as Dawn mentioned, we did take this item to our executive committee earlier this month to discuss which teleconferencing rules would be best suited for MCE's board and committee meetings beginning in March. With the state of emergency being lifted at the end of this month, we'll no longer be able to meet remotely as we all are this evening. And so the recommendation from our executive committee was to continue to meet per the default teleconferencing rules of the Brown Act, which is that we could have the teleconference location be on our agenda. Whatever the teleconference location is of the board member, we post the agenda on that site. We allow public to access that location, and the location has to be within our jurisdictions, which is our 4 service county area. And this allows us to have offices both in San Rafael and Concord be locations and destinations for the in-person meetings. And we did have this item actually looked at with external counsel to ensure that we were comfortable with this approach. And then the alternative option is under AB 2449, which requires that quorum to be in a single physical location, and we would not be able to meet at both of our offices. Additionally, there'd be some administrative burdens associated with AB 2449 for staff to ensure that all of our quorum meets at one location, tracking that for our board members. There's limitations on how many times you can teleconference for the just cause and emergency circumstance. So with that, the recommended action for tonight is to approve what the executive committee approved and recommended, which is that we hold the MCE board and committee meetings in person beginning March 1st, subject to the default teleconferencing rules when a state proclaimed emergency is not in place.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board for staff? I know we were just talking about this on our last agenda item, but just want to make sure.
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Are there any comments from members of the public?
No raised hands from the public.
Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve. Oh, Eddie Bursano, second.
Thank you.
So was that a motion? I'm sorry, I didn't see who made the motion.
Perkins.
Yep.
Perkins motion and
Motion by Perkins, seconded by
Pearson.
Pearson.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Belvedere. Benicia.
Yes.
Concord.
Yes.
Contra Costa County.
Yes.
Corte Madera. Corte Madera, Danville, El Cerrito,
Yes.
Fairfax,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Lafayette,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Marin County,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Mill Valley,
Yes.
Moraga,
Aye.
City of Napa,
Yes.
County of Napa, and all 4 Napa cities,
Yes.
Oakley,
Yes.
Pinole,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Ross, San Anselmo,
Yes.
San Pablo,
Yes.
San Rafael,
Aye.
San Ramon,
Yes.
Sausalito,
Yes.
Solano County, Tiburon,
Yes.
Vallejo,
Aye.
Walnut Creek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Our next item is a discussion item, item 11, a policy update.
Yes, and we're going to hear from Stephanie Chen, our legislative director. Got a presentation.
Excellent. Thank you, Dawn. Happy to get us started here. If you could move to the next slide, please. So we're starting off here with a legislative update. And just by way of background, the overarching goals of our legislative strategy are really to support MCE's mission and to create favorable conditions for the agency's priorities. Our legislative advocacy is governed by these 4 overarching principles, which were adopted by your board. We work to support the CCA model, which includes preserving our procurement autonomy and our local governance structure, and ensuring a level playing field between CCAs and investor-owned utilities like PG&E. We support legislation that will help reduce greenhouse gas emissions through renewable energy and demand reduction, which also includes support for our wide range of customer programs. Related, we promote local economic and workforce benefits to help grow the green economy in our service area. And last but not least, we advocate on behalf of CCA customers, promoting consumer protections, affordable rates, and access to clean energy programs that deliver direct benefits in our homes and businesses. Next slide, please. So the deadline for introducing bills in the state legislature is tomorrow. So we're still pretty early days here, but at this point, these are some of the priorities that we anticipate for this session and are prepared to engage on. The first 2 bullet points here are priorities for MCE as well as for state legislators. There's a significant push to get new renewable resources built and plugged into the grid as quickly as we can, and also to support electric reliability, particularly during the hot summer months when we have seen supply get pretty tight over the last couple of years. We're also very focused on affordability because we know there are still so many folks who are struggling from the economic impacts of COVID. And also as bills have gone up recently due to supply chain constraints, market conditions, and the impact of CPUC procurement orders, which my colleague Sabrina will discuss here in greater detail in a moment. Related, there has been a lot of activity in Sacramento this winter on the price spikes for gasoline, which we saw last fall, and for fossil gas, which we've seen more recently on our monthly gas bills. We're expecting legislation this year that tries to address affordability for both of these commodities. And we also expect that this will lead to a lot of really valuable conversations about the future of electrification of both our cars and our buildings. We're also gearing up to address some form of anti-CCA legislation this year in case it comes up. Over the last couple of years, there have been a couple of CCAs in Southern California that have experienced some very public challenges. So we may see some kind of legislative response this year, and we're prepared to respond to that response. But thankfully, the CCA model across the state has many, many more success stories than these two examples. And MCE in particular is very well positioned to engage in conversations about ways to ensure that customers are protected when their community chooses a CCA. There's also a new chair of the Senate Energy and Utilities Committee this year in California, and he has historically not been a strong supporter of CCAs. However, 3 of MCE's 4 state senators also sit on this committee, along with CCA champions from other parts of the state. So I would say that we're cautiously optimistic that we can balance out the additional influence of the incoming chair. And finally, as I think folks have all heard, the state budget will be in deficit in the coming fiscal year. And the governor's office has already indicated that he wants to scale back some of the climate and clean energy commitments that were made last year through the historic climate package, in order to ensure that there's enough funding for other critical state priorities. So we anticipate that there are going to be some politically or some potentially tough conversations and trade-offs to be made in this area. Shifting over to the federal side of our advocacy, community project spending or earmark requests will once again be available in the upcoming federal fiscal year. So we're working to determine where it makes sense to pursue additional federal funding to support our programs through that channel. The policy team has also been working with our customer programs, power resources, strategic initiatives teams to pursue grant funding both from last year's Inflation Reduction Act and also from the 2021 Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. So with that very quick high-level overview, please do stay tuned for updates about specific priority bills at future board meetings once we get a little bit more into the legislative session. But for now, I will turn it over to Sabrina and advance it. Perfect.
Thanks, Stephanie. Good evening, directors. My name is Sabrina Soldavini, and I'm a member of the policy team. I'm going to give a brief overview of 2 important regulatory policy issues. The integrated resource planning process and the resource adequacy program, both of which impact MCE operations and customer affordability and are experiencing what we believe are programmatic and market challenges right now. So I'll walk through what some of those challenges are, as well as some of the policy solutions that MCE is currently working on to mitigate these challenges in both the near and long term. Next slide, please. All right, so first, the integrated resource planning process, or the IRP. So what is the IRP? The IRP is meant to be a 10-year forward vision on how to meet customers and the grid's electricity needs. And MCE has actually been doing our own internal IRPs annually since 2012, well before the CPUC started requiring biannual IRPs in 2018. And just like the MCE's internal or operational IRP, the CPUC IRP must be approved by this board. And the CPUC IRP process is meant as a planning exercise to detail the procurement plan that each load-serving entity, or LSE, has adopted for meeting the state's goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and ensuring reliability. So essentially, it's estimating what resource types and how much will need to be procured over that 10-year period the IRP covers. And MCE's most recent IRP was submitted in November of 2022. Next slide, please. So unfortunately, the intent to utilize IRPs for planning purposes has not gone to plan. Rather than relying on the IRP process for planning and to drive new resource build in the state, the planning process has been overtaken by ad hoc and rushed procurement orders from the CPUC that do not rely on robust analysis of load-serving entities' plans or take into account each LSE's individual needs. So in this chart, you can see the total megawatts of procurement that the CPUC has ordered since 2019 and the years at which it's expected, or it must come online. And what's really interesting about this graph and of note, right, this 15,500 megawatts represents 30% more than the peak demand in California in 2022. And that all is being ordered to come online in just 6 years. So that's really an unprecedented amount of procurement that is being mandated by the load serving entities in the state. And such unprecedented levels of procurement are really causing disruption and disrupting the orderly planning process and driving increased costs by creating what we think of as a seller's market. And ultimately, this is exacerbating the customer affordability crisis as these costs of high procurement eventually make their way into customers' rates. And while these resources are likely needed for the grid to remain reliable, we're pushing for a better approach. Next slide, please. So how are we doing that? MCE staff has been working with the California Community Choice Association, or CalCCA, to propose changes to the IRP process. So ultimately, we feel that the current process is inflexible, unpredictable, and can bias towards existing gas resources. Since gas resources run around the clock, they have a high compliance and reliability value, but new gas generators aren't really being built in California, so it creates a bit of a bias to hold on to the existing gas resources for reliability and compliance purposes. And we're worried about backsliding on commitments for clean resources. And what we've worked on with CalCCA is a proposal that focuses resource planning on the clean resources needed to stay reliable and meet the state's goals. And so what we propose is what we've called a net clean capacity procurement framework that would move the focus of the IRP to procuring clean resources over a 10-year period based on a robust evaluation of both system and LSE's needs to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while ensuring grid reliability and flexibility for electricity providers like MCE. And our intent is really to get the commission to embrace a long-term procurement program that, as much as possible, reduces uncertainty and allows the commission to move away from issuing ad hoc procurement orders in the future. Next slide, please. So switching gears a little bit to resource adequacy, or RA. The CPUC oversees the RA program, which is really a compliance program that requires load-serving entities like MCE to procure a certain amount of resources to be available to the market to balance supply and demand and keep the lights on for California customers. And this program requires MCE to demonstrate on a year forward and monthly forward basis that sufficient resources are under contract to meet our peak monthly needs plus a 16% buffer, which is where you get that 116% requirement listed on the slide. And importantly, there are financial penalties for failing to meet RA requirements. But due to environmental changes and the complexities that arise as the grid is transitioning to more renewables, the RA program has seen a number of large-scale and last-minute regulatory changes to try and ensure enough resources are procured to maintain reliability. And the rapid grid transition and climate change effects, coupled with development and supply chain issues, has slowed the growth of new renewable development and created a very tight RA market that, when combined with the CPUC procurement orders, has both dramatically increased the prices that MCE has to pay for RA resources and decreased the likelihood that an LSE like MCE has the ability to procure what is required for the RA program. Next slide, please. So changing grid dynamics have also led to reductions in the amount of capacity applied to certain renewables. So essentially how much resources count towards compliance. And so this has been applied, so reductions to compliance value has been applied to resources like solar to account for the fact that these resources are intermittent. And when it comes to solar, you can see on this slide that the value of solar, while critical to the renewables transition, has been heavily devalued from a compliance standpoint over recent years. And this reduction has exacerbated resource adequacy issues and further driven up RA prices and reduced resource availability as LSEs need to purchase more resources to account for the devaluing of existing resources. So to address some of these market issues, MCE is advocating for some changes to the RA program aimed to bring stability, transparency, and efficiency to the RA program. Next slide, please. All right, so these include solutions that could be implemented in the short term and those that are more of long-term solutions. So the first one, conduct monitoring of RA contract prices. So the RA market is currently a bilateral market, and there's really limited transparency into contract prices. So we're interested in the CPUC exploring monitoring of RA contract prices and providing some transparency, which we expect will provide insight into and reduce the risk of price gouging due to resource scarcity in the market. Second, we'd like to see the commission explore or establish a soft price cap for RA. As I mentioned previously, there are penalties for non-compliance, and we're concerned about profiteering by generators who are taking advantage of that fact in the tight market which is really leading to extraordinary prices. And we believe that the commission should establish consumer protections in the form of a soft price cap for RA resources. We think that LSCs like MCE need some sense of a limit on what is reasonable to pay to avoid continuing to feed price gouging by sellers. And so we're recommending that the commission set the soft cap above the current RA penalty price to ensure continued availability of resource adequacy resources to California. And we think, long-term solutions. We think that the RA framework needs a wholesale restructuring in the long term. And we think that we need an RA program that promotes cost certainty and resource availability, coupled with rules and timelines that allow for long-term planning. And so there's two essential elements that we see here. One, which we've talked about a little bit in the previous slides, allowing for consistent adherence to the IRP planning process to bring new resources online, rather than unplanned short-term procurement orders. And second, we would like to see the state explore the possibility of establishing a centralized capacity market where buyers and sellers can transact in a transparent and organized market, just like we do currently for all energy resources. And this solution would allow the CPUC to take a step back, we think, from its role in the RA program, eliminate the uncertainty related to the RA rule changes, and allow the market to function correctly. And this organized market would also bring some transparency to its transaction environment that is currently bilateral and inefficient with dramatic price increases. That's a really high level overview, and these proposals are kind of in the early stages, and we're talking with commissioners, we're making proposals in proceeding dockets, in proceedings, and happy to bring these items back to the board as we have more updates. And sorry, Director Haroff, if you have any questions, happy to answer.
Oh no, are you finished with the
I'm totally
presentation?
done.
I want to wait.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you. That was a very helpful overview of some of these challenges that are kind of surprising and shocking to me. And I know it's going to require some heavy lifting to respond to these. And I just want to make sure that you are aware that I'm ready, willing, and able to help support those efforts, because they seem really targeted towards, in an adverse way, towards our business model. That's it.
Thank you, Director Haroff. Are there any questions from members of the board for staff?
Director Rice has her hand up.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Sabrina, for the presentation. Can you just give us a sense of the probability of actually the CPUC moving in the direction that we want them to, and or these other, just generally? And also, secondly, to what degree the direction we would like to go in, other CCAs are on board with us, and this is actually being pursued at sort of a broad state level?
Yeah, so I'm happy to take a stab, and then I have, if Dawn wants to weigh in as well. I don't want to put a number on the probability that any of these proposals will get picked up by the PUC. I think some things like a waiver, let me take a step back. I think something like a capacity market is a solution that is less likely to be picked up in the short run and maybe has a better chance of success long run. Overall, I would say that there is an okay chance of some of the minor issues being, I don't know, Dawn, do you want to answer this question?
I'm happy to, but
Yeah.
you're doing a great job. I mean, it is really hard to say.
Yeah.
Sabrina and I and others from the policy team have been working very hard just in the last couple of days, meeting with all of the commissioners' offices. We also met with the California Independent System Operator, and we are meeting with staff at the Energy Commission, the CPUC, and we get kind of mixed reactions. So it's hard to say what the outcome will be. There are a lot of folks from different load serving entities weighing in on this proceeding, but the good news is that we are very aligned with all the other CCAs, and Cal CCA has just grown into a fantastic, strong organization that's very well organized, well resourced, and is engaging heavily on this issue at the CPUC as well. I think there are a couple of nuances, things that we're pushing for. As Sabrina noted, the organized capacity market is one where there may not be 100% alignment just because it's a very complex solution with a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot of alignment on the other issues. I think that what we are facing in the RA market is differentiated quite a bit from the investor-owned utilities. They also are load-serving entities, and when I say investor-owned utilities, for some of our newer board members, I'm referring to PG&E, Southern California Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric. Those are the three large utilities in the state, and they own a lot of resource adequacy, or RA, and so they are often the sellers. They aren't the only sellers by any means, but the price increases are not in fact impacting them in the same way that they are impacting us and our customers. Also, they have the ability to do full cost recovery from their customers, and even float some of those costs to future years, whereas CCAs have to be a lot, we have to respond more in real time and pass along costs to our customers. So we're trying to really protect the customers by highlighting this issue with the regulators, and we're hopeful that there will be some more oversight. I think there is a good chance that we'll be able to create a little more discipline around sticking to the integrated resource plan process rather than these unexpected random procurement orders that keep happening. That's where I'm feeling the most optimistic.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, are there any comments from members of the public?
No raised hands for the public, but Director Fong has his hand raised.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. So there's obviously volatility in this whole supply chain, and that scares the daylights out of all of us. But so I guess the question is, what is our approach? Because obviously we need a fiscal plan, we need to budget, because at the end of the day, the consumer is the one that will feel the impact, whatever it might be. What is our approach that we're taking today, recognizing that we've got so much volatility in this pricing, as well as distribution between solar, wind, and geothermal, to at least make sure that we're fiscally smart and have the foresight to manage the financial successfully going forward?
Well, the good news is that we have built in the higher power supply costs and resource adequacy costs into our budget for the year. We did, your board did approve a slight rate increase at the end of the calendar year in anticipation of these costs, and that is allowing us to plan, I think, pretty well for what we can expect this year. I think that the harder issue is just simply the availability of resources to comply with all of the CPUC orders. And we've always been able to comply with the orders, but this year there's so much scarcity out there that I think there are multiple load serving entities that won't be able to comply with all of the orders. So that's probably the more frontline concern. I think that as far as the budgeting goes, we are planning accordingly. And it's a timely question because we are building the budget now that will be coming to the executive committee in early March and to the board mid-March. Our fiscal year begins on April 1, so this actually is budget setting time. And the rates that went into effect January should be able to account for much of these increases, but we'll know more next month regarding whether we need to make any other
Great. Okay, thank you, Don.
Thank you. Director Murphy?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again, staff, for the presentation. I thought it was very helpful to see updated, some of our updated policy issues, and certainly hope to support as much as possible in our city of Pinole to move the dial forward and really address some of these issues together. I wanted to ask about California Community Choice Association and some of the success they were doing last year around their action center, and particularly engaging what I believe was 11 million customers across the state of California that they represent, or at least that they are tied to. What is the update with that work, and how, if I remember correctly, there was almost like an action center where we all kind of signed up, and numerous people kind of participated in getting involved in perhaps a new policy action. Are there any updates to that type of work? And I'm assuming they're already a part of this, but is there something that we should look forward to in the next couple of months around that?
Yeah, I'll say a little bit about that, and then our legislative director, Stephanie Chen, may want to add on. But Cal CCA, or the California Community Choice Association, is a trade association that MCE helped start actually back in 2016. And before Cal CCA had staff, we were helping to staff it quite a bit with a couple of the other young CCAs at the time that had just launched. And it has grown into a statewide organization as the number of CCAs has grown. After we formed in 2010 as the first CCA, took a couple years for the next few CCAs to form, but then in 2017 there was a baby boom of CCAs. We had 12 in 1 year, and now there are 23 CCAs, as you mentioned, serving millions of customers. In fact, 1 out of every 4 energy customers in California is now served by a CCA. So we really started something, which is exciting. And this organization of CCAs is doing a lot to coordinate, not only on the regulatory front, but I think what you're referring to, Director Murphy, is coordination on the legislative front, where we created a database. And this was really at the urging of Director Chair Tombutt at the time, who was excited about how joint efforts among local governments could really impact legislation. And so we did create this platform where folks could sign up to get action alerts when there are bills that are important to CCAs. So as the legislative session ramps up, we will probably bring that back and make sure folks are signed up to get alerts. Do you want to say any more about that, Stephanie?
No, I think you did an excellent job, Dawn. Thank you. Looking forward to sharing that information at an upcoming meeting.
Thanks again.
Are there any further discussion, from any other board members?
There are no raised hands, Chair.
And if I could make one other comment, I just want to point out that our Chief Operating Officer, Viken Kasarjian, has years of experience working at the California Independent System Operator, and he's been helping to lead some of our efforts around resource adequacy reform. And I just wanted to see, Viken, if you have anything to add that you think we might have missed.
Oh, thank you very much, Don. I just want to say that MCE is keeping leading the effort on identifying the need of change, reaching out, working between the ISO and the PUC commissioners' staff to make sure that this really needed change does happen. Director Rice, you asked a very, very important question about the possibilities. But together with, I want to recognize like the Stephanie and Michael's assistances to keep on pushing the point, because the system is broken and it is really terrible seller's market at very high prices that the staff had introduced to the board already about the significantly increased prices. But please remember that, like the Director Fong, that's one of the reasons why we are expanding into possibly owning a power plant to remove the risk or significantly reduce the risk. We want to invest in like the Richmond PPP to further reduce the risk by working with our customers, all levels of customers. So we're really addressing these things on multiple fronts, but we can discuss more further. But thank you, Don. Just 2 minutes.
Thank you. And thank you, staff, for that informative presentation. Just going to circle back one more time to see if there's any other board members with any questions. All right.
There are none.
Thank you. Seeing none, moving on to item 12, Form 700 Statement of Economic Interest. We'll be receiving a presentation.
Hi, good evening again. Catalina Murphy here. While the presentation loads, we thought we'd take this opportunity with so many new board members to kind of provide details on your upcoming filing and how you can include MCE. So next slide, please. So essentially, there's 3 main points that we want board members to be aware of in order to capture MCE on your filing. First is to include MCE on the cover page, then to also report your financial interests that are consistent with our conflict of interest code, and we'll get into that in a few moments, and then send a copy to MCE. And as elected officials, I believe that your form is due on March 1st. And so you can take a look at the sample cover page here in section 1, where in addition to the office information that's related to the public office that you hold, this is where you can also include MCE and then list your position as a board member. Many of you might already have multiple board positions, and we've often seen MCE listed as an attachment as well. And then also in section 2 of the jurisdiction, be sure to include multi-county to capture MCE and the 4 service areas that MCE has with Contra Costa, Marin, Napa, and Solano. Next slide. Thank you. So, as a public official of your city, town, or county, your obligations to disclose the investments and income sources in real property that's not your primary residence should already capture these disclosure categories that the MCE has listed in its conflict of interest code. But we just wanted to highlight the specific sources like vendors that provide operational services to MCE or generate electricity or provide equipment that is utilized by electric power suppliers, so that you can be aware that that might impact your ability to make decisions on our board. So remember the vendors that you are working with, and if you see that come across on a board agenda that you're participating in, there'll be recusal processes that we would have to go through. Next slide, please. And then finally, the simple is just send a copy to MCE. There's a simple way through our compliance email, compliance@. You can also interact with our board clerks as well. We collect the Form 700s just so that MCE is aware of any potential conflicts of interest, and these can be regular subjects of Public Records Act requests or press inquiries. Next slide, please. And that's it. Again, you can reach out to us if you have any specific questions or use the resources at your city or county council to support.
Thank you, Catalina, for that presentation. Madam Clerk?
I just wanted to thank Catalina for that, but could you also speak to the time frame in which new board members are obligated to get their Form 700s in, assuming and leaving.
Oh, thank you. I will have to double check those timeframes. I believe it's a 30-day window
30
from when you assume office and 30 days when you depart office as well.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, Darlene.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from any members of the board for staff?
Through the chair, this is Carrie from Benicia. I have a question. I've already filed my Form 700 when I assumed office, 30 days of being elected to that. Do I need to just update the form that's on record now with this additional information, or do I do it all over again for this opportunity?
Yeah, that is a good question. I can look into those specifics. I believe there's an opportunity for you to just update the current form or file what's called an amendment to it. But why don't I circle back and I can connect with Darlene to make sure that we provide that information to you.
Thank you.
Director Martinez?
Yes, and in order to get it to you, could I take a photograph of it, send the photo, or is there some electronic way to do this?
Yeah, however it is filed with the FPPC, I know that different counties and cities and towns have different ways that it's submitted, either in e-file. I mean, we'll take all versions, hard copies, photos, PDFs. PDFs are the easiest for us to process, but honestly, you know, any way that we can get it, we appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any further discussion on this item from board members?
Director Williams, you had your hand raised for a moment. Did you want to say something?
Director Birdseye asked my exact question.
Okay. There are no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any comments from members of the public?
And no hands raised.
All right. Seeing none. Thank you again for the presentation. We will move on to item number 13, board matters and staff matters. Would any members of the board would like to share any board matters? All right, seeing none. Are there any staff matters to discuss at this time? All right, seeing none, we can move on to our last item for the night. And that is to adjourn. I will adjourn the meeting at 9:58 p.m. Thank you all and have a great evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Good
Great
night.
meeting. Appreciate it.
Thanks to everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.